Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Erin Clifford. You already know that. And I have my business partner
What's
in the
up?
hizzy this morning. Yay. We are going to talk about do a second quarter wrap up
Yep.
and just help educate the difference between what a market update is and what you guys are typically hearing, which is going to be a general market update. And um, so that's how I want to open this is that everything that you're generally seeing in the media, whether it's online or an article, it's a general market update, usually
Yeah, like national.
national,
Yeah.
intended to scare you into something, right?
Mhm.
Because scary news and, salacious, crazy, scary news, it sells advertising, right?
Yep.
So anyway, don't be fooled, people, because just please don't. So we're in Collin County, massive market. The contiguous counties like Dallas, Denton,
Rockwall.
Grayson, Rockwall, um, those are there's many submarkets in a big market. There's a
Yeah.
vast array of types of properties, very dense little developments. You have townhomes, small homes, and then you go up to
Condos.
condos, and then you go to sprawling estates in some places. So if you're curious about what this market means to you specifically, you need to call us, just schedule an appointment. We
Yep.
would be happy to give you the down and dirty on what the value looks like for your property because the market is not terrible. I it's different, but it's not terrible.
Yep.
Right.
Well, and like one question we'll get sometimes is, what's my house worth? Or, I know average price per square foot is X. And I'm like, well, are you looking
Right.
at a condo that has 150 units, in a postage stamp parcel? Or are you looking at a house on 2 acres with a pool that's 5,000 square feet with a game room and a media room? Those are you can't do price per square foot. So it is a little bit more of a science than that. You actually have to compare apples to apples. So,
100%.
yeah.
100%. So I'm just gonna hit on 10 points and
10.
I've got 10. They're very
Okay.
good. Sorry. And then Heather, what I want you to do is just to, you just jump in because you've got all the stats for our team
Mhm.
being our salesperson. So, and how many agents do we have now?
9.
9,
Well, 9 besides you and me, so 11.
11.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So my first point is this is that Collin County market, it's balanced, it's not broken.
Yep.
That I just want to share with everybody. So second quarter sales in Collin County, again, this is general information, right? Sales average nearly 1,700 properties per month.
Wow.
And median price sits around 470,000. And we talk about um, inventory in months. So right now, if every home sold that's in MLS in Collin County, it would take just over 4.5 months to sell.
And what's typically balanced? Is it 4 months or 3 months?
Well, 3 months is great.
Ideal.
6 months, they actually have it, like, at a six-month mark. So anything under 6
Okay.
months, they say it's a seller's market. Anything over 6, it's a buyer's market because there's so much
So
inventory.
anything under 6 is a seller's market,
Yeah.
technically, but everybody right now thinks we're in a buyer's market.
Everybody thinks we're in a buyer's market
Yeah.
because our sellers, generally, they want their house to be sold in, 3 months or less, and in a lot of cases, that is happening.
Well, and it's interesting to note on that, we've been in the business, I guess, almost 15 years now. And I remember back in the day when we started, you would sign a 6-month listing agreement. And then a lot of times you would have to extend
Yeah.
because the house wouldn't sell in 6 months. And then we went through COVID years where everything sold in a hot second. So now if a house is on the market more than 30 days, sellers are getting very anxious
Right.
and, concerned because they're not selling. But truthfully, that is the norm. We're kind of even though people feel the stress of this, I feel like we're actually just going back to a normal
Yeah.
market. Like, we're pretty balanced. I don't even know that I would call it a seller's market, though. I definitely well, I'm gonna say I would not call it a seller's market, but I don't know that we're fully in a buyer's market either. I think we're more balanced.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The second thing, pricing discipline is the single biggest predictor of success.
Yes.
So just over half of all the closed sales in May had a price reduction.
Mhm.
I looked at the numbers yesterday for, Collin County just over the last week, and it was in the thousands of houses that had reduced their price. Those houses that took a price reduction sold at 90% of list price. So that means if you listed your house for $100,000, it sold for 90,000,
Mhm.
right?
And what was the percentage that took price reductions?
Over half.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet it would be the vast majority.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So homes that priced it right from day one, meaning, market prices right now getting ahead of your competition,
Right.
right? And who you're competing against. Those homes sold at 98.5% of asking. So what's the most expensive mistake in this market?
Overpricing.
Overpricing.
Yes.
That's point
Mhm.
two. And
And
so
I do think pricing is the toughest because it's, whenever I talk to clients too, we always talk about it's an art, not a science. That there's no perfect way to do it. You have to look at all of the data and make the best decision possible. But I'm also encouraging sellers, don't trail the market. So when you see 5 houses in the neighborhood do reductions and then you do a reduction, well, then you're all reducing like this. Like,
mhm,
personally, I think a better strategy is just to leapfrog, just to jump ahead and understand that this is really where you probably should have been priced, because then you're gonna go under contract and sell while all these other ones are still doing these incremental reductions. So, pricing is tough because everybody wants to get every penny on the table, but the biggest lesson I think in that is the longer you sit, if you would have priced it right in the beginning, you probably would have sold at a good price. But when you overprice and then you do minimal reductions, you ultimately end up selling here instead of here.
yep,
So in the long run, it's not to your benefit. Even though it's a little painful in the beginning, it actually is to your benefit in the long run. It's just hard to see.
yep, because it's more painful if you don't if
Yeah.
you don't hit it right in the beginning. Okay, this is my third point.
Okay.
So I did say Collin County, it's not broken, right? However, and it's correcting North Collin County is where the correction really lives. I think we see that.
Mhm.
Salina is down 14% year over year. Melissa is down 11%. Prosper has a large supply of homes right now. And I would attribute that to there's still so much new construction
Yeah.
out that direction. We have had some listings in Princeton. Now, granted, that's just east of McKinney,
Yeah.
but it is very, very tough when you are selling in a market where there is just new construction all around you. And
Mhm.
the lovely human being that's recording our podcast is very familiar with new construction sales. You guys have, you have more of a budget to work with than a typical homeowner.
Yeah.
Builders have, they have budgets and deeper pockets for those things to an extent. So it's tough to compete with those guys.
Oh, yeah.
So
And they typically offer a lot of incentives and
absolutely. Yeah.
but interesting, you said that Salina was down 14%, but it's also noted as the fastest growing city in all of DFW.
Hmm.
So, it's down it's down maybe sales-wise, but it's growing pretty quickly. So but again, like you said, it's because there's a ton of land out there. So I think it's just a ton of new construction.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The land mass in Salina, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right because I read it somewhere. It's bigger than Plano.
Really?
Land mass. I mean, that is a lot of space.
Well,
A
there's
lot of
a
space.
lot of people moving out that direction for sure, and it's getting closer, as weird as it sounds, but, now with everything coming to kind of the 121 area,
Yeah.
up and down 121, Salina is really not that far anymore. A lot of I don't know how that's gonna affect downtown Dallas, but I know downtown Dallas, a lot of companies are moving more north because I think that, property values are probably more affordable for commercial as well as residential. So, Salina is getting closer, when everybody's not going all the way downtown and we're getting them the mass amount of population is coming this direction, that means Salina is just a little bit closer to everything, like restaurants and shopping, and
Yeah.
it's definitely close to it's not far from the airport, etcetera. So,
I would say it's just in its growth phase, right?
yeah, if you are looking to buy, I would actually really be looking out there because
Yeah,
prices are great at the moment,
they sure
and
are.
they won't be in a few years.
And Salina is beautiful.
Yeah.
There's, parts of Salina, I love rolling terrain. I love when there's like a little topography. The downtown Salina
That's what I
area
was gonna say. So
precious.
fun,
It's
yeah.
so cool,
Cute
so
little
much fun.
restaurants, yeah.
So yeah, it may be a great time to go up there. All right. So point four, let's talk about Allen really quickly. A tighter supply, softening prices. So
Yes.
the median price is around 505,000, down slightly from last year, but the inventory is contracting. So there's only
Do
says
you
there's
mean going under contract or getting smaller?
contracting like
Okay.
contracting.
I mean, I just think of children,
I know. I was like, oh, Heather's gonna take this to pregnancy route. No, we old, we not pregnant.
Yeah, no.
So there's about 3.9 months of supply.
Okay.
Yep. Average is about 39 days on the market. Homes are still moving. They're just moving in a slightly lower number. And you live in Allen. Star
Yeah.
Creek is one of your specialties.
Yep.
So would you agree with all of this?
Yes, I would. I mean, everything is going to sell. It just is taking a little bit longer. So, yeah, and people are getting a little bit more realistic with numbers. So yeah, I would agree.
Okay. Point five. Let's talk about McKinney.
Okay. I
Says
love
it's the
McKinney.
steadiest market in Collin County.
I love McKinney.
I love McKinney too.
Well,
And downtown McKinney
I
is,
would say I love downtown I love all McKinney, but I really love specifically
yeah,
downtown
it's
McKinney. Yeah,
awesome.
so cute.
So McKinney is doing okay, 98% sale to list ratio and 3.2 months of inventory. Yeah. So buyers have, they're saying buyers have the least negotiating room here of the big three. Frisco, premium pricing, but buyers have leverage. Would you
Mm.
agree with that?
Well, Frisco is still very desirable. It's still a very great school districts. Lots of schools, but great school rankings. So, and you're right smack in the middle of everything.
So buyers have a little bit of leverage in Frisco. Right. It's saying that Frisco is the highest price city in Collin County.
Really?
I need to do some digging on that because I want to
That's
make sure. But
interesting.
Um, a sale to list ratio is about 95%, so there's about 5% negotiating room on average.
Hmm.
So,
I'm very surprised to hear it's the highest priced.
okay, and
Interesting.
I am gonna talk about far north Dallas. Um, it says it's quietly outperforming everything. The median price, is 625. So while Collin County has softened a little bit, the corridor between 635 and George Bush has held its value.
Yeah.
So
So that's North Dallas, but what would be far North Dallas for this?
for this,
Would be
think
Allen McKinney.
well, far north Dallas, so Allen McKinney, and then we get down, like, to the Dallas County line
Yeah,
where it's, like, I think it's, like, Renner South, but, like,
Richardson.
Richardson, like, think Bentry area,
Mhm.
um
But that's not the far north, right?
well, I would
I mean,
consider
I'm just saying from the purposes of this, like far north, like where are you thinking
it's
about?
saying it's between 635
Okay,
and, like, George Bush.
okay.
So that
So that makes a
corridor.
little more sense. Okay,
Mhm.
got it.
Point eight, builder competition is reshaping the northern edge. So from Slina to Anna, new construction is flooding the market. Builders are offering incentives that resale sellers, say that 10 times,
You got it.
simply can't match. So if you're listing a resale home in northern Collin County, I feel like we already touched on this. You're competing with builders.
Yeah, I've had two
Yeah.
listings actually that wanted to sell for different circumstances that were in new construction neighborhoods where the neighborhoods are just still completely building. And we've had to pivot to a rental for now because you cannot compete with all of the new construction.
So I want to flip really quickly to TLC numbers.
Mhm.
And out of the units that we've done so far this year, which is how many and what volume?
We have done 132 for 82 million.
Okay.
I believe that is right. So far. So, and we're in July.
How many leases have we done year to date?
more than we want. So, I mean, well, I shouldn't say more than we want, more than we are used to doing because
Mhm.
we focus primarily on, buyer-seller transactions. But because of the market this year, some of our clients, I just had one that it's a condo in Dallas that we've had listed for a hot minute, and I begged the seller for, like, the last 3 months, "Just rent it," because the market is not cooperating at the moment. Like, hopefully next year will be better, but, it's sitting there, and of course, that's not to my benefit, I'd rather sell it, but it's, our job is to take care of the client. It's what's in the
Mhm.
client's best interest, and I said, "How long do we need to sit here?" Because it's empty. She's not living there
Mm.
anymore. So, we finally just, shifted to a rental, and now we're getting flooded with rental people that wanna come purchase.
Right.
But it's at that price point too, it's at that $400,000 price point that those people are very, very, very concerned about interest rates, so they're all waiting for the rates to go down, and rates possibly could go up before the end of the year. They're not likely gonna come down until, we're hoping next year. So I think a lot of these people at that price point are waiting until,
You need to make friends with 6%.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just y'all you just need to make
it's
friends
the
with
new
it
norm.
and just, get to
Well,
that acceptance phase because quite honestly, I it's not a terrible interest rate. Now,
no,
of course, the higher the interest rate, the less you can buy,
yeah,
right? The lower
your
they are, the
payment.
more you can buy, but
But people also need to understand that, we are, especially people coming of age to purchase right now, like, let's just say 20s and 30s, they have seen these low interest rates in their lifetimes that have been 2 and 3. That's not the norm, and a 50-year average is 7%. And when we were kids in the '80s, well, more so me than you, but when we were kids, interest rates were up to 18%,
yeah,
18%. So that's insane, and our parents somehow still did it. But now 6% is nothing. It's just people have to, like you said, we just need to accept it's the new normal. But we're still under the 50-year average, even at 6%, because it's
mhm,
7.
yeah,
So, I mean, if we can somehow get, into the high fives, I think that is
a sweet spot.
amazing. And also, people need to note that when the interest rates go down too much as we all want that, we all do,
Prices are gonna shoot right up.
well, prices shoot up, so you're gonna overpay, you're gonna compete, but also lower interest rates a lot of times equates to higher inflation. So, do you want do you wanna buy a house and maybe get an interest rate that's reasonable and potentially refi if it goes down, or do you want gas prices and grocery prices and everything else to be inflated? It's like this fun balance in the economy that's way beyond my pay grade, but I mean, anybody that is looking, I would say, what do we say? Buy the house, wait, marry the house, date the rate.
Right.
Because if you can get in a house right now where buyers are willing to negotiate because they've been sitting on the market, you're going to get, a great price on a house. You're going to be able to negotiate repairs, negotiate a solid contract. If you wait until rates go down into the fives, that's out the window.
Right, and I say this all the time, but you are buying in the market that you're selling in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you while you may be taking, or feel like you're taking a hit on the sale of your house, you're also going to make up for it
To benefit.
on the buy.
Well, but
So
also
same
first-time home buyers right
yeah.
now. I mean, this is the time. This
Right.
is the time. If you are a first-time home buyer or if you're in a rental property, even if you're not a first-time homer, let's just say you're in a rental right now and you don't have to sell. I mean, this is your Super
It's
Bowl.
your
Like,
moment.
get in there and just buy something
Get up in
because
there,
yeah,
buy a house.
for sure.
And we have so many awesome lenders. We have like a top 3 that we all work with,
Mhm.
and there's so many programs, there's so many things, and with some sellers offering, some of those incentives so you can buy down your rate or what have you. It really is a no-brainer.
Yeah, for
It's a
sure.
no-brainer.
Mhm.
And I did read if I already said this, forgive me. I really think I'm, like, getting the I don't know. Something's happening up here. I am a woman of a certain age, but, mortgage applications were up.
Oh, good.
So
That's good.
that's a
Because
very
they were
good
down
sign.
last month, I think, so that's good that they're going back up.
A very, very good sign.
Mhm.
Okay, um, talked about that. Year over year, prices are down slightly, but activity is steady. I think we can agree with that. Our activity in TLC is up actually over last year. We just had or we're having a record July.
Mhm.
Like over 20 million in volume,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. And our and while we're having a record year, you can touch on this too. It is a hard market to work in
Yeah.
right now. It is not easy. So while these numbers are great, we are beat down,
Yeah.
and our clients are beat down. It is just tough
Yeah.
on
It
all
is.
levels.
Well, and I was gonna say, we are very, very, very fortunate that TLC, we're having the best year of our careers. I mean, this is the best year we've had. So we're very blessed and lucky.
Yes.
But I shouldn't actually say that we're blessed and lucky. And it's just like we talk about with the team. This is not the market. You can use the excuse all day long that it's a tough market, which it is. It is a tough market, but all that means is you develop new strategies, you find different ways to do the job, and you kind of hunker down and get a little smarter about it. So I think there are a lot of agents, and I don't mean to be ugly in any way, but I do think there are agents that are going to use the market as an excuse to not perform.
To be complacent.
Yeah, or just to say, I don't know what else, kind of throw your hands up. But we're fortunate that we have a team of amazing agents that don't do that. And we talk weekly, multiple times about what are we doing? What do we need to be doing? What we used to do is not working. Now we need to think outside of the box and figure out a way to get transactions happening because we have clients that have to sell. I mean, we know there are people that have lost people in their lives that have to sell. There are people that have, unfortunately are getting a divorce. They're getting a job transfer. They have to sell. There is no choice. So it's our job to find a way to make that happen. And we have phenomenal agents that are doing it. And like I said, we have far outpaced where we are this time last year. We are significantly ahead. So, I mean, I'm going to knock on wood. It's partially, I think, blessings, but also it just shows the work ethic of the people that we're in
Yeah,
business with, which is great.
because our agents are having a time this year too. I mean,
Yeah, they're struggling.
a lot of personal stuff happening in the background.
Yeah.
A lot.
But that's actually what makes me the most proud because everybody gets knocked down. We all get knocked down. Every single person, you and I, every person listening to this podcast, I mean, everyone has life stuff. We have parents that we're helping deal with. We have kids going off to college, you and I both. We've got people on the team that have lost people to cancer this year, lost people unexpectedly. I mean, some crazy stuff. Also, some really exciting things. Grandbaby twins are in the
Yeah.
team now, so we've got great things, but a lot of things that could distract you from work. But you're supposed to enjoy all of those wonderful things in life and then also take the time to mourn the sad things, but you still have a job to do. And that's why I think I'm so proud of them because the resilience and the commitment to still getting it done. You may need to take a few days to handle what you need to handle, but then you're back at it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we've fostered a nice,
yes.
community amongst
And we
our
all
team.
rally. We kinda rally around, and when someone's needing help, everybody on the team is very quick to jump in and, support, so
Yeah. Well, I'll just sum up my points. It's just Collin County's not one market. I think we understand that. There's a lot of tiny submarkets. Um, like Lovejoy, it is a different beast all on its own.
mhm.
Um, and there's not a ton of inventory in Lovejoy right now either when I looked at it. So, far North Dallas seems to be, holding its own. McKinney is steady. Frisco may be softening a little bit. Prosper and Salina are correcting. I think they're just in growth mode,
Yeah,
right?
very
And
much.
it's an awesome location.
Yeah,
It
and
is a great location, great time to get a good deal too. So I think our team, what we're really strong at is we can speak to the difference of all of these places and help drill down in these
yeah.
submarkets, city by city, neighborhood by neighborhood.
Well, can I touch on that too?
Yeah,
So I mentioned that we have 9 agents. We have 9 agents, and, the interesting thing about us is we all hub in the Allen office,
right.
but we have 2 people that kinda specialize over in Salina, Prosper, Little Elm, over in that direction. We have 2 or 3 people that are Richardson that live in Richardson, Plano, so they have a lot of knowledge, that direction. Erin will be one, and then we have, an agent that is over in the Rockwall Heath side, and then the rest of us are kind of in this kind of vicinity, but the beauty of that is we have such great information and knowledge about all of these areas and people that are sometimes I think they wonder, "Well, you're in the Allen office, you may not go to Dallas," which, by the way, we've all grown up here, so we can go to Dallas, or to, wherever, to Salina or
Yeah.
Little Elm or Aubrey. We actually have agents that kind of permeate out, I don't know, 20, 30 miles from
Yeah.
where we are.
Steadily.
Yes, I'm not going to Fort Worth, I'm just gonna say that. That's a little too far, but
Yeah, I that's
oh,
that's
and to be honest, it would be a disservice because I would
mm,
find you an amazing agent in Fort Worth because I just don't know that market as
100%.
well. Yeah, but
100%.
we have a big range that we can cover.
Yeah, absolutely. What else do we wanna touch on?
I think the biggest thing I would touch on is that this is the time to buy. I mean, honestly, this is such a great time to buy. I understand sellers, this is maybe not prime time for sellers. If you have to sell, you have to sell. If you can wait until next year, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. But if you are a buyer, I think that you absolutely should take advantage of the market being very steady right now because there is a chance that rates are going to go down in the beginning of next year. And when that happens, the market will see the frenzy again. And if you're a buyer, you don't necessarily want to be competing in that. If you're a seller, that's wonderful. You definitely want to be engaging in the market at that time. But I think that if you are thinking about buying, this is such a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I would say too. Buy now.
Yeah. And if you have to sell, we can still sell your house.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Houses sell all year long.
Or if it just
Yeah.
makes sense for you because you want to, what if you want to upsize or downsize? I mean,
Mhm.
whatever your circumstances are, we always figure it out. But
Yeah, we do. We're problem
yeah.
solvers, therapists,
Mhm.
problem solvers, salespeople. So talking about Lovejoy really quickly.
Mhm.
So in Lovejoy, just looking at Lovejoy as a whole, which can include parts of McKinney, which is like Serenity,
Yep.
Fairview, Lucas, you know,
A little
Allen,
bit of Wiley.
a little bit of Wiley, a little bit of Allen. There are right now available, and this excludes Heritage Ranch.
Yep.
Because that is a submarket,
That's 55 plus.
55 plus.
Yep.
Awesome, awesome, awesome little neighborhood. It's beautiful. Right now, there are 70 active listings, and that ranges from a price of 510,000 up to 8.4.
And no Heritage Ranch in there? And a
There's no
500,000.
Yeah, and
That's
there's
interesting.
no Heritage Ranch. So, right now, the average list price is about 1.5. Median is 1.2, so right in the smack in the center.
Mhm.
Okay, and what sold second quarter in Lovejoy, there were 47 properties that sold for an average of 1.3, average days on market 43.
Yeah.
It's pretty healthy.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty healthy. I will say that I think traditionally speaking, that's a lot of inventory for Lovejoy at the moment,
Yeah.
for us to have in, mid-July. But it tracks. I think that just makes it more consistent with basically what's going on in the rest of Collin County.
So if we just look at Fairview specifically, this is what's crazy. What's interesting is that 17 of those are in Fairview specifically. Only 17.
Out of 70?
Mhm.
Whoa,
Whoa is right.
that means
Mhm.
53.
53 are outside of Fairview. So
Wow,
interesting,
that is very
right?
interesting.
And yeah, because we had a listing appointment last week, and actually, I thought it was interesting because I was like, the median price is actually up year over year
Mhm.
in Fairview. So Fairview, of those 17 listings, the average is 2 million. So compared to the overall average in Lovejoy, which was 1.2,
Yeah. Well, typically
1.3,
land value is higher in Fairview.
it is
Mhm.
a little bit more expensive. Um, and out of those sales, 16 of those sales, the average sales price in Fairview was 1.7. So it does. it gets a little bit of a higher price than its neighbors, and I
Yeah.
think that is primarily due, yeah, land value because it's just closer to amenities.
Yeah.
So to have a little bit of land and be 10 minutes away from everything is pretty nice.
Yeah. And I think a lot of Fairview, for the most part, is newer, with the exception of like the
Montecito.
Montecito Estates. But a lot of it's a little bit newer. I think Lucas is probably was developed first, if you think about it, because
Mhm.
everything kind of slowly came north. So Fairview's slightly north. So it's a little, for the most part, I bet you that most of the houses are a little bit.
There is a lot of new construction
Yeah.
too in Lucas, and that just hasn't turned over yet. So
In
that
Fairview, you mean?
well, in Lucas,
Oh.
just thinking about, think about the J. Anthony developments, some of those have turned over in the
Yeah.
past few years, but for the majority.
Rockdale actually was a fairly newer community. Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, but yeah, Lovejoy is still a very healthy market. Okay, so again, just echoing just tying all this up. And there's so many different markets that we could talk about that would take us probably 12 hours to get through. So, I know we didn't really hit on Plano too much. We didn't get too in detail about Lovejoy.
Mhm.
But I think the takeaway there is, the inventory is still a little limited. I mean, 70 houses in Lovejoy overall is a lot, but at the same time, it's not it's not necessarily a ton. And there's a lot of different options there, right?
Yep.
So if you are on the fence, leaning more on the side of like maybe we should buy, you should buy. This is your sign.
For sure.
You should get out there and get in the market. Take
Yep.
advantage of it.
Marry the rate.
Mm.
No, marry the house. Marry
Marry
the
the house,
house, date
date
the
the
rate.
rate.
Yes.
Gosh, we are awful.
You
All right. Good job.
Good job. We'll try this again in third quarter.